Welcome everyone, hope you're having a very wonderful day, and welcome to my guide for Eurasian Lynx for Revontuli Coast. Before I begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide's going to work. So our first section will be covering their hotspots and locations, and then we're going to move on to weapon recommendations, and then end today's video with the animal profile, which will have a custom map, time zones, ammo chart, and more. Everything you need to make your hunting life 10 times easier. So let's get right into it with their drinking time. These guys drink between 3 to 6. Now in terms for their locations and how to hunt them, it's pretty easy on how to hunt them, but the location part is going to be what's the real difficulty in terms of dealing with these lynx. So all the lynx are in singles, there's no pairs of them, so just shoot the males pretty much that are out there, level 6s and up. Try to kill guaranteed level 6s, gold level 6s if you can. Try not to take those risky shots if they're kind of low level below that trophy score, so I wouldn't bother with them. Just kill those 6s, 7s, and 8s, and eventually you get your diamond in no time. Now the problem with them is their vast area. Pretty much they roam the entirety of the map, but down here at this island that you can get access to. So every other body of water on the map, you can find them. I couldn't really place a hotspot, that's why we're not going to be visiting any locations in today's video, but I will give 2 quick recommendations for consistent lynx, because these are my initial spawns. I haven't really hunted them yet, but all my initial spawns have kind of been at this gigantic lake section right here. All the lakes on screen here are pretty good for these lynx, and then coming off down here at this group of lakes as well. They kind of share many of the raccoon dog zones that I have down here, so I recommend checking those 2 groups out. And that's pretty much it for their terms of hotspots and locations and how to hunt them. They're pretty easy to hunt, so it shouldn't take you but maybe like 50 to 70 lynx to probably get your level 9 if you're only shooting those golds, maybe even sooner than that. But alright folks, so I'm going to head back over there to the outpost, and we're going to be talking about some of the weapons that I like to hunt these guys with, so I will see you guys there in just a second. Alrighty folks, we didn't have far to go to get back to the outpost, but before we begin, I want to quickly mention 3 things. First things first is I'm only going to be covering rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I'll not be covering bows because I'm not a bow expert, so I'll leave that to professionals. Secondly, these are just my personal recommendations and favorites. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits you and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning whatever DLC these weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So let's get right into it with our first rifle of the day. The Model 1894 is my #1 weapon for those full integrity kills when it comes to killing these lynx. The reason being is because no matter where you shoot these lynx, this thing will pen everywhere. This thing overpens. The round on it is just absurd. So if you have a weird looking position to deal with these lynx and they don't want to give you the clean shot, just use this thing. It's kind of just, I don't know how to explain it. I guess the best way I can explain it is shooting a M1 Abrams tank into a refrigerator, and you pretty much can conclude what happens to that refrigerator. That's what happens to these lynx with this thing. So I recommend picking this thing up, and you can find it in the Ambusher Weapon Pack DLC. Moving on to our second rifle down here, which is actually base game, the Ranger 243. You can't go wrong with it. It's literally the base game rifle you get at the start of the game. The ammo's free as well, so it's the best bang for your buck. Literally, you don't have to spend any money on DLC as well. So it's just one of the top of the line better rifles in terms of dealing with these lynx as well. But I would rather take my 44 overpen machine than this thing, but I do recommend it. Very solid choice. Moving on to our third and final rifle today, which is actually just right below it, the Mosin. I'm not going to call it the in-game name, but it is the Mosin. It is just a very iconic World War II rifle, and it fits Finland perfectly. I think it's just a very solid rifle that does not get enough love in this game. It covers Class 3, deals with these lynx really effectively, and you don't need a semi-auto option for these guys since you're only basically killing these singles unless you have double singles stacked up that are gold worthy. But so that's why I'm only recommending bolt actions in today's video for the weapon recommendation section for these guys. But the Mosin's very solid, very good rifle, and it will drop them. Only downside is you only get access to soft points, but nonetheless, when dealing with these lynx, you don't really need the polys whatsoever. But this thing is very solid, and you can find it in Weapon Pack 2. Moving on to handguns here. Since we covered the base game 243, we're going to be covering the 243 Kumo. This is a very wonderful hand cannon. It's a single shot, which is the only downside, but the benefit of it is that you can put a rifle scope on it, which makes it one of the top tier handguns in Call of the Wild. The only equivalent is the 4570 Jernberg, and they both share that #1 spot. They just cover certain different class categories, but overall, one of the best pistols in the game, and you can find it in the Assorted Sidearms Weapon Pack DLC. Moving on to shotguns, everyone probably is automatically going to assume, if you've watched all my other videos, that I'm going to be talking about the Norden 20 gauge. This is a semi-auto 3-round shotgun that's very fun to use. I don't really use shotguns in terms of hunting like these smaller game animals whatsoever. I pretty much just stick to the 243 Kumo hand cannon and some of the bolt action rifles or that lever action. But if you did need a shotgun or do need a shotgun, this is the shotgun for you, or you can even use the Strandberg, which is just right down below it. But I do recommend the 20 gauge. It's got less recoil, it's very fun to use, and you can find it in the Duck and Cover Pack DLC. So that's pretty much it for the weapon recommendation part, guys. So we're going to head over to the animal profile, so I'll see you guys there in just a second. And here we are, folks, at the end of today's video. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to do a quick animal profile breakdown. Starting left-hand side, we have all of our basic Eurasian Lynx information. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, and diamond threshold. We have our weight from least to greatest in kilograms and in pounds. We have our fur types here in common, rare, and very rare. Moving on to center map, we pretty much covered all that information at the very beginning of today's video. Moving on, top right-hand corner, we have all of our time zones nice and organized for you. And then below that, we have our ammo chart for those full entirety kills. So pretty much does it for today's video, folks. If this guide does help you, please drop a like. It really helps out the channel. With all the way up, you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting. Good luck. And I will see you guys in the next one.